the
So
flames.
yeah, they don't come from this area. They're not natural, and maybe if they disappear, they were brought over in the 1800s to be windbreaks.
But the redwoods, how long does it take a redwood to grow? You know,
Oh,
A lot longer.
those guys had to be about 100, 125 years old.
Yeah.
It looked like beautiful trees.
That's so sad.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I was driving, I don't know, somewhere. I've been driving somewhere. And I saw the big crane. Well, I live just up here at Oak Hill Park.
Yeah,
So
so
I
your
was
skylight,
gonna- yeah.
your skyline has just gotten a little bit thinner. Because what
must
replaces it are just is a cacophony now of
Rooftops.
wires,
rooftops.
wires and telephone lines. And wow, I had no idea how many we had crisscrossing that area.
oh wow,
Oh, well, even, yes, on my street, every now and then there's that, like, remember the other day there was this awesome sunset that I think you took fucking 40 photos of this vanilla sky that happened the other day.
That would be my
Everybody,
better half, but okay. I'll take it.
everybody in Sonoma County was taking
Use that
pictures.
word
Anyway,
with
I
tough.
don't know where I was going with that. Oh, every time something like that happens, I go outside to try and take a photo from my house, and it's this telephone freaking wires.
Yeah.
I have to walk like 4 blocks to get no wires in my picture for like one little stupid Instagram snap.
just blur.
Do you
it
have
a little.
Instagram?
Oh,
Yeah, I think so.
I'm talking to Eli here.
Oh,
from
I've
the
never
people
posted
who-
anything on it, but last
Why?
I checked, I have think like
I feel
500
like
or
you
600
could probably
followers.
oh, Jesus. You should have maybe give some of your fans something to look at, like a post. On
something
your
else
Instagram.
to look at.
I want to go take a picture of my work of art on the dry erase board. I'm proud of that.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
we'll put those in the show notes. He's got a fluffer picture of on the
No,
dry
it's not a
erase
fluffer
board.
picture. I'm just wondering why that one guy on the left doesn't have to do any work.
Well, some guys would just
He's the alpha.
It's a very capitalist society on that whiteboard.
Yeah.
I love all of you guys, but I love Tom more. I'm going to say that. I'm just going to put that out there. 'Cause
We do
Tom-
too.
Tom,
I agree.
I've been in here for a year plus at Keller Street, and I have a visual of what happens over there every single day, which sometimes we joke about and sometimes I experience because I do have a teenage daughter, and also just the idea that there's a place for the kids in town to go. I have this, romantic idea in my head that the kids who don't have a place to go after school because their parents don't give a shit, or maybe they're just not there,
Or maybe their parents have to
or
work.
whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, but
a lot of that
I think
nowadays,
there's a lot of that. And at least there's a place, even if they're getting into a little bit of trouble, there's a place that they're all safe for the most part.
For the most part,
and
it's-
there's
yeah.
somebody who cares, and it's not just somebody, it's not just you. I mean, like this fundraiser that you guys just did, the Bohemian Rhapsody thing.
yeah, that was
How many-
glorious.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars did you raise?
Well, so we needed to, it was time for the Phoenix Theater. The clock had ticked and was up. We needed to put the sprinkler system in to be, legal in the city of
For
Petaluma.
the code permits
To be
and
up to
stuff.
code.
Yeah.
And that was going to cost us $380,000. So, we started out aiming for $380,000, 9 months ago, I guess. It took us 9 months. Jim Aegis, who is, I think our board president, one of our board members for certain, put out the call and orchestrated the program, and we had help from so many wonderful people. And again, Lagunitas and Paul Elliott and just some wonderful people had stepped up to help. Chris Cord, a lot of Petaluma people helped us. I shouldn't name anybody because I don't want to miss anybody.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
there were so many
the community
people.
came together though.
Community came together, even, over at the Roaring Donkey, they did a couple of good shows for us. Stuff like that. Tito's Vodka comes ahead. So we had such help, and we put the money together. In the middle of that, our sewer system collapsed. That added another $60,000 to the, and we just kept rolling, and here we are, done. The sprinkler system is going in. The work is happening. We got a new roof. We decided we went to some other people and asked for help with the doors. The doors are coming in, and so the Phoenix is going to be
Oh my
a
gosh.
billion. That's the object. When I came in, we weren't sure what was going to happen to the Phoenix. My job was to turn it into a viable movie theater so the guy that owned it could sell it at the time. And I was only going to be here
Ken
for a year.
Frankel.
Ken Frankel. Yeah, I love Ken. That guy's a genius. At any rate, I think
Not how I used to talk about him.
he aimed at selling it. And if we could just make it look good on paper for a while, it would sell. But at the time I came in, California decided that you can't sell a brick building in this state unless you do the earthquake work.
Oh,
Yeah.
So what would have been a relatively easy sell turned into a very expensive sell. It never sold. I was faced with the option of closing it, boarding it up, and letting it turn to dust. And I just couldn't do it. And I couldn't do it because the day that we did close it, Lance and his crew were out in front. I drove by, and Lance and his crew were still out skating in front of the building with their skateboards and just kind of hanging by the front door. So I went home and called Ken and said, Ken, I'll rent the place. I'll do it. And here we are doing what we do now. And so in the process of doing that, it had turned from being, kind of a down and out movie theater, but it still had its movie theater, and it still had the appearance of the grand old lady she was. It became a punk house, a skate house, an art house. It became something quite different than what it was. This I likened to the Cat in the Hat. Two kids home on a rainy day. The mother goes to the store. This cat comes in, and they have this huge party that totally trashes it. And just as the mother is coming home, the cat disappears. What? And these two kids are in this trash house. Go, what the? We're going to get busted. The cat comes back with this machine, totally cleans the entire house, and then leaves. And just as the mother steps in the door, the house is pristine again. This is what I'm hoping I'll be able to pull off before I leave. And we're getting there. We've got sprinkler systems.
Looked good. It looked cleaner the other day.
It is cleaner. It's a different generation.
Cleaner, nice.
This generation using it nowadays, is not. These guys do more damage on a spiritual level to themselves than they do to the building, which the last few crews have done. This is a very unique generation that's just come in, the 8th graders, 7th
Do you
and 8th
find
graders.
they're a bunch of assholes?
I find that they're...
I can only say that because I have one.
Yeah,
so.
no, yes, I would have to agree. But see, I'm a Petaluma boy, and we specialize in our own special breed of assholishness. So I look at that in reverence.
Hashtag
yes,
Petaluma asshole.
I do find
Speaking of that, I was hanging out with Rich Smith the other day.
One of my favorite assholes. But I consider myself that. And an incredible keyboard player.
Fucking Ray
Yes,
Sunshine.
that's being a Petaluma boy. At any rate, now it feels like, honest to God,
I like the big
it feels
smile.
like it's
The
a
telling smile.
Yeah, but it's a version of a reality TV show, and I think this is where they're coming from. These guys, just the attacks are right to the heart and right to the soul, and good heavens, I've never seen that. It's been more of a
and the girls are worse than the boys.
That's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, they suck.
They're terrible. I could never be.
I've never in the
grader
30 years I've been there, 35 years, I've never had parents come down to scream at girls before, and it's happened 4 times this summer.
Just this summer.
whoa.
Yeah, I know. My daughter was a part of 2 of those.
Yeah, it's the most amazing thing.
Where
I've
did she
never
get
seen
it?
that.
That's fucking
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. I don't know where she gets it from. I have no idea.
Is it the reality TV show? I don't know what it is. It's
I
really
don't know.
something.
What are some of the
just think
bigger
it's
acts that come through? I mean, over the years, I know a friend of mine used to always catch Guar. They
Oh,
came.
Guar was
Guar!
my favorite. Guar's
Yes.
You know, Green Day, Red Hot Chili Peppers. We had Mac
Primus,
Dre's Get Out of
Mr.
Jail
Bungle.
show. Primus, Mr. Bungle, Faith No More.
That was your favorite show ever.
Oh wow.
Run DMC has been through. We had.
I mean, if that place could
Wanna
talk.
lock Betty
Well,
Cooper
it's
in the
talking. You're
kitchen
talking.
rope.
Well, and again, it
You
did
speak for
have
Phoenix.
in the early days. It had Caruso sang there in 1906. And Harry Houdini performed there in
Wait,
along about 1940.
the magician?
Yeah.
He's about the only person that you just said that I recognize the name of.
Fuck,
We were-
Lance
Red Hot Chili
Brown
Peppers?
down in
Oh, that one I know.
Green Day.
1983 did a solo performance. Fucking crushed it.
Really? Do we
Oh,
have
man.
this? Is this on video somewhere?
So no, thank God.
or an 8-track?
Lance was about 13 years old whenever we had Beverly Hills Cop. And it was Breakfast Club was
Yeah.
the second film. So he'd been, I want to play for runs. I want to play for. He was a kid in those days. Oh, Lance. I'll tell you what, next time
those
I have
days?
a teen show, I'll let you play during the intermission. So it turned out the next teen show was Beverly Hills Cop. And we came back as the second feature, Breakfast Club. Holy cow. We had every kid, but because it was first night at the theater, we also had a lot of adults.
Oh, yeah.
And I set Lance up on stage with a 320 amp watt,
Yeah. That thing was
320
fucking
watt acoustic head and a box of 610s.
I don't know.
And he cranked up,
10-inch speaker. Yeah.
He cranked it all the way to the top and proceeded to play 15 seconds of every tune he thought he knew how to play. Oh my God!
700 people, baby. I fucking
700 people.
Did you scare him out of the theater?
This one
All
guy.
the moms were like,
this one guy came up to me, got right in my face. I will never come back to this theater. I wanted to go with him. Yes, please.
Oh my God! How often do you guys play as a band at the Phoenix?
At the Phoenix?
We try to practice every week.
No, not practice, like perform.
Well, see,
every couple of years.
It's not fair. Being the guy who runs the club, I can't make myself the house band.
Why not?
It's cheesy.
It's
Yeah.
It's Petaluma.
Well, it is Petaluma. And look, and I'll tell you what, if you're looking for the place, we don't have alcohol, and that scares a lot of people away, and it scares the audiences away once you get over 21.
Our audience is booze bags.
But and that's the problem. But once you, but if you're looking for a place that is the most generous building to play in, the Phoenix will make you sound good.
Oh.
It just is such a beautiful sounding room, and if you've got the right mixer on the board, holy cow!
I'm gonna come sing over there.
You should. And if you're just doing vocals, if you're doing a cappella in that room on a night when it's quiet, it's just you and maybe a friend or two or just nobody, that room is still the opera house it was.
Oh, I'm gonna go sing Twinkle Twinkle.
Yes.
That's about all I can
It's a
sing.
glorious room to play and perform in. It absolutely is very giving. And
Except
you
for
can feel the history of it.
13-year-old Lances, maybe not.
Okay, that was a rough night. I blame the equipment.
It
had volume.
I had a bad
Isn't
chord.
it every Sunday you get a bunch of 13-year-old Lances, though?
We do. Every other Sunday, we do
really?
our kid jam. So we have a lot of kids that show up at 5:30 and jam with Shane Slick.
Gonna be my new
on
drum
occasion
teacher.
We go.
Sure hope so, yeah.
On occasion.
On occasion, Lance and I'll go.
Yeah, we'll show up.
They make fun of us.
And join us.
Well, no, they actually take direction.
They do.
pretty well.
I didn't do
because
anything.
they're in complete abstract land when you get there, and
yeah.
they're trying to outplay each other.
Well, kind
in
of.
volume.
I mean, it
and-
takes between tunes. What it takes is the jam master, and Shane is the jam master, and well, so what do we want to do now? And well, let's try this, and he'll give him a 3-chord progression, major, minor, and he'll throw it into beats and measures. Yeah, and then we just keep repeating, and the kids will get a piece of that to do their own expression in. Once it comes up to be their turn, if you give them a good bass, Peter Welker. Do you know Peter Welker? Peter Welker is an incredible trumpet player and who has been playing in Sonoma County for 40 or 50 years now. Played in the band Cold Blood. Comes from the Boston music scene as a younger player. He is pretty much Petaluma's resident arranger in town. So I'm up at his house one day, and he's a jazz player, and he has a couple of his own jazz bands, and he's working on the charts for his jazz band. I said, Peter, it's a jazz band, right? He goes, yeah. So I thought it was a lot of improv. Oh, it is. But you're charting out the whole tune. Yeah, because the more together the whole tune is, the more freedom that the players will have to work within those confines. So I'm mapping everything out so that they'll know how far they can go and where they can go.
And just let them get free in the middle.
Yeah, let them get free in those moments. And that's the way we do it on Sunday. We'll give them the confines. This is what we're going to play. This is the key we're going to play in.
What
These are the
Sundays
beats.
does this happen?
Every other Sunday.
Doesn't feel like any Sunday I've been.
every other Sunday.
Shit. It's all 3-chord rock. That's all.
Wow, I want to fucking do this.
Are you kidding?
It's been
Well, you know what? Yes. As a matter of fact, and when Lance shows up, we wish he would. I'll leave it at that.
It has been
Everybody
bad
else
enough.
is doing
It's been
that.
so bad that I had to get them to play 2 chords for like
Yes,
an hour.
every once in a while, if you got new players and stuff like that, you bet.
No, it's a lot of fun. It
is. Yeah, it's.
You guys are doing great shit over there.
Yeah, there you go.
How long have all of you lived here? How long have you lived in Petaluma? Wait, do you live in Petaluma?
Yes.
Okay. Assuming you do. How long have you lived here?
My whole life.
Really?
Except a year in Rohnert Park. I'm not proud of it.
I'm sorry.
You know what? At the
Pete?
height of, I got a story about
That could be a good
Oh,
novel.
tell it.
and his childhood. At the height of, we were just starting to do rock and roll, and it was a cranking house. There was always action on Friday and Saturday nights. And I think at least once a week for a long time, we would be graced by Eli with his guitar, sometimes in the nicest evening gown. Just this glorious evening gown that he would wear, and he'd go and play on the steps on Keller Street, and he could play any show tune, any TV show tune, commercial show tune, you name the tune, he could find it and bang it out on his guitar.
Wait,
He
at
has
what
been-
age?
Oh, you 13 or 14?
Well, I mean, how old are you now? Like
13
17?
and 16, somewhere
Yeah.
around there.
Absolutely. He was the minstrel downtown. He might have been one of Petaluma's first buskers, really. except for he wasn't getting paid for it.
Oh, wow. That's
That's
that wasn't
Eli's
the year
history
when
in
he
this town.
was in Roanoke Park. Pete, how long have you been here?
Well, I was here for about
Before you went to Santa Rosa, sorry.
3 years. About 25 actually. I think Hannah was a year old when I moved up here.
From where?
So, Novato. You get
So you're just
get
going
priced
further
out.
north.
Getting
Well,
sucked
Yeah,
north.
it's true, right?
And I was
Totally
young.
true.
I was young.
Yeah.
Started in Chicago.
Yeah, I started in Chicago.
So you grew up in Chicago.
Yeah.
Hanging out with
my formative years from about 11 till